So welcome everyone. Today is Thursday, November 29th. And if we haven't met before, my name is Marisa Gowdy. I am a story healer and a writing coach. And I do work with one-on-one clients who are looking to, whether it's getting out a blog post or a book, or who are just really looking to kind of dissolve those creative blocks and what keeps them back. And I also run an online writers group. We've got a couple Sovereign Writers Circle members here with us today. So thank you. I'll mention a little bit more at the end, but if this is something that feels good for you, we do this every week. So as I always do with all of our sessions, let's start by getting into our bodies, because this body of ours does a lot of work to hold space, to hold us up, to let us move through the world, to discover new stories. And there are stories that need to be uncovered within. So I invite you just to take a few deep breaths with me and see what that breath wants to fill, what new corners it may help reveal. So today I have 3 prompts for us. We're going to spend it's going to vary depending on which prompt we move through. The first one's 10 minutes, then a 5-minute prompt, and then we're going to go through the rest of the session with the third. But you'll hear my voice with a new prompt at each point. And feel free to stick with one if it's really got your attention. Feel free to do whatever work calls you. These are your launching pads. These are by no means a creative dictate. So let me go ahead and share my screen and put my glasses on so I can see my screen. Do we see Meet Yourself on the page? Okay, great. So we'll start with this first prompt and we'll play with this one for about 10 minutes or so. And our prompt is, what part of you will you meet today? Because today's theme is meet yourself on the page. You are a multi-storied being, all softness and curves, wounded bits and sharp edges. Which facets of you need to come out to speak the truth in this moment? So play with this. See if the words in the prompt themselves draw you in. Just ask, which piece of you wants to show up at the front of your writing practice today? So if this prompt still really has your attention, by all means keep going. But you might want to open yourself up to this next prompt and see how it folds in. Our second prompt is the release. What do you need to release in order to meet the next beginning? What expectations, burdens, fears, memories, or headlines do you need to let go of before you get to the quote unquote real story? And if you need to release for the remainder of our session today, that can be good medicine too. So we're going to just play with this one for another 5 minutes, and then you'll hear me again to dive into this third prompt, which I see taking us through the end of our time. if you want to keep going on this one, by all means, please do. But you may want to try our third prompt, the plot twist. Look back on the year. Perhaps you want to jot down a quick timeline to help you track all that's happened. Seek out the moments that most surprised you. Spend a few moments with the new characters who entered the scene in 2018. Look for situations when growth became inevitable. Write the story of this year's turning point. If several present themselves, trust yourself to focus on just one. Describe the quote unquote ordinary world that came before. Explore the elements of change and transition that came with this plot twist, and write into what life looks like on the other side. So let's ride with this until about 10 minutes of the hour, when we'll come back together and just reflect a little bit on what came through. There's no pressure to read anything you've written, but just maybe we'll just talk a little bit about what the experience was like, so we can all create some community around the writing we've done today. So we'll write for about another 3 minutes or so, and then we'll come back together and just talk for a little bit about what came through. So this might be a time to decide what the end of a paragraph might look like. It might be the time to ask yourself where a piece of writing wants to go next. It wants to be part of a bigger project or some blog post you hadn't imagined before. If it's a new part of a story you hadn't realized was there waiting for you. Decide if you think this piece is going to be complete today or if you need to set a date to come back to it. So let's see. I'll take everybody off mute. And I would love to hear what might have come through for you. What prompt spoke to you? What you think you might come back to? And this is always the hardest time to say, wait a minute, I'm in my writing mode. I'm supposed to talk now. And by no means do we have to, but I find that this is often the time when speaking aloud, whatever it was that came through for you, something new gets discovered. Just in hearing what it is you chose to share with somebody else. Because there's such an intimate process of what happens, especially when we're writing in our journals. We're very used to keeping these things to ourselves, right? But what happens when we decide to say, this piece is right for me, I would like it to be heard and seen. So maybe it's one line or one piece that surprised you or one little commitment you want to make to yourself to come back. What might that be?
Well, go ahead. I'm saved. Go ahead, whoever talked.
Oh, it was me. Well, as always, this was just always so amazing, Marisa. And today's prompts just really hit home. And the part of me that needed attention today was actually my intuition. And I actually got a thank you letter from my intuition today. Just saying thank you for listening to me, because while we've been to so many beautiful places, we've been on a lot of wild goose chases. So I just so that was a real surprise. But I stayed mostly with prompt number 2, and I like the way that you worded that, because whenever we are making a new beginning, there are things that we need to let go of. But I really love the way you said it. What do you need to release in order to meet the next beginning? There's something about that just it made me look at it in a different way. So I spent most of the pretty much all the rest of the time on prompt number 2. But I did make some notes on prompt number 3, and I think after the call, I'm gonna work on prompt 3, because I could feel myself shifting into that mode. So I have a little bit of time after, and I'm gonna continue with this today and see where it takes me.
Oh, cool. And maybe I'll cheat and use that for tomorrow in the writing group. Maybe I'll bring that prompt in, because I generally create a new prompt for every single time, but sometimes we're allowed to repurpose our own work, right?
Definitely. And there's I feel like these prompts were really rich today. Like there was just, and maybe it's because of the time of the year too, where we really are in a, letting the year go, celebrating what was wonderful and honoring our challenges and moving into something new. So it just seemed really like rich material. So I would love that to continue it tomorrow.
Awesome. Sometimes it can be easy, right? we can all learn from that. Awesome.
Definitely.
We'll see you tomorrow, Dawn. Thank you.
Thank you.
Jennifer, how are you? It's great to have you here.
I'm good. Thank you. It's really nice to be here. I love that thank you letter from my intuition. I find, there's a couple things going on. As a fiction writer, I am very resistant to sort of the blog idea because I got a novel to finish. So I always feel a little, it's very uncomfortable, which is usually something like because I should go toward it. So, and I'm usually pretty good about going toward what makes me uncomfortable, but that one is huge. So I was writing thinking, okay, the prompts, I love the prompts. I am working on releasing the idea that it's a waste of time to write about anything else besides whatever plot thing I'm on right now. And so, and I know it's not, it's just, it's time and and so I really liked the second prompt as well. And I found myself, I'm doing some work around food, and I've been moving, the story, the headlines, 4 kids, single mother, can't afford things. And so my kids are all grown. I'm still in this headline of, buy those sugar snap peas, they're too expensive. So sugar snap peas are wrapped in cellophane and marked with the word unworthy. I just went with that, and at the end of it, I'm squinting going, it says unwashed, and I get an opportunity to take them home fresh from the field and bathe them and enjoy them. And so it's like, can I nourish myself? I just noticed that I used mothering nurture language on that. I just noticed that. Could I nurture myself and buy the snap peas that are not, they're more than the Kraft macaroni and cheese. So, which I don't really buy anymore. But, the guilt of stuffing that in the cart next to the squirming boys, which came in the first prompt. Just, okay, those are not my headlines of my life anymore. And then that really went really nicely into that third prompt, which about where were your, it didn't really relate to the story itself, but it was like, there's a lot of turning points, and they're beautiful to focus on one. So I really enjoyed that. So buy sugar snap peas.
I'm kind of hungry. I feel like I need to have a decent salad for lunch. Yeah, for sure. Okay.
Thank you.
And Cynthia said farewell in the midst of this, and I think Evelyn's was commented too that they were very rich prompts. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I'm trying to just run 2 things at once. Well, Jennifer, thank you. I love too that as you think about how like a blog might work for you too, that your ideas for stories go to a life you're not living right now, in the sense of, you know, the mom's life and the crazy mom life. It just seems like an interesting thing to notice at this point in terms of, oh, maybe the stories that you're ready to, you know, blog about, and it being a different, you know, that personal writing, you get to be in your current life in a new way, and it may be part of the reframe.
I like that.
Yeah, never know.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, thank you for being here with us. Lisa, how are you? It's great to see you.
Hi, it's nice to see you too. I know this is my first time joining, so thank you all for having this space. My plot twist was sort of the highlight that I've been focusing on for the past 2 months. Basically, after camp ended, I went back to work and decided immediately that I needed to leave my job of 5.5 years. So I did at the end of October, and I did it without moving into something else directly. I'm taking a couple of months to do some self-exploration and support work. And it's been a lot. It's made me anxious because I don't have answers yet, and I get worried about that, and then I remind myself I need space. And so I came into prompt 1 thinking, okay, I've been doing all of this work and really trying hard. I need to shift it up and maybe see if there's something else I can do. And I settled on play. Okay, what can I play with? And it still circled back to, well, let's play with emotions. Let's pick an emotion and try it on for size and see what comes up. And it ended up with jealousy, which then tied, I know, kind of dark and heavy.
Well, the dark is good. The dark illuminates the light. We need all the things. Yes.
It tied right into prompt 2, which then became a little bit of a letter to all the people who appear to have it together and appear to have the answers, and, you know, that envy and feeling like it must have come so easy to that person, and they don't understand the struggles, and maybe I'm the person who's never going to have answers, and woe is me, and that whole thing. And so then prompt 3 gave me the opportunity to look back and just to really see how far I've come, and to recognize the people who helped me get here and the experiences that I'm having. So full circle all the way around.
Yay. I love when that happens. Because, you know, the magic happens when we take this like crazy deep dive into one prompt we never expected, or if we find like, oh my God, they all want to be in conversation with each other. I mean, it's just endlessly surprising. You know, I've been leading these writing groups now for over a year in this way, and it's just, there's so many different ways to yes, and to the like, oh, that's what I needed. So I'm just so grateful to you guys for making this part of your process, you know, whether it's just for this 1 hour, or I get to see you again at other points. You know, come back to these prompts and see how they want to keep evolving with you and poking at you. And, you know, if jealousy comes up today, what emotion wants to come up tomorrow? You know, our writing, a prompt that didn't make it today was this idea of how our creativity and our writing wants to give back to us, right? So if we're not in a reciprocal relationship with it, if it doesn't feel balanced, how do you ask it to shift? I couldn't quite get the prompt to come out clean. It's not fully baked yet, but I'll just try to drop that in the cauldron, that maybe that's something to think about. But I want to honor everybody's time. We're just at the end of our hour. And, you know, just so you know, this is part of I offer this because it's kind of an offshoot of the writers group that I offer on an ongoing basis. We meet 6 times a month, and we do writing like this together every Wednesday. And we have a writing coaching and story healing call, and also bring in a guest expert. So we're open to new members right now for December 1st. I will make sure I send you guys the link. You can find it from my website. If it's something that interests you, or you know somebody else who's looking for some ongoing writing love. And the next free thing that I'm doing is the next chapter of 7 Magic Words starts on December 14th. And that's when it's a week-long challenge of coming up with 1 magic word a day, based on some hopefully pretty yummy prompts that I'm sending over your way. And the theme this time is mystery and embracing the unknown. So that, if you're on my list, you'll get an email about it, but I hope that you'll come and play with us like the 7th time we're doing it. And it's really fun. And then we'll do another writing group sometime in January. So in the free community writing practice thing. So Let me know if you guys have any questions, if something else comes through for you in terms of, you know, need someone to help you hold your story, send me an email. I'd love to hear more about what comes through. If you have any questions about what I do in my world and how I might be able to support you. Dawn, I'll see you tomorrow. Yes. And Evelyn, thank you for being here online. Without your mic, it's still perfect to have you here. And Jennifer, good luck on the next big fictional plot twist, and Lisa, keep us posted on the next real life plot twist and where you land. And let's keep writing together, I hope.
Very cool.
All right. Thank you. Thank you guys all so much. Have a beautiful rest of your Thursday. See you soon.
You too.
Bye.
Bye.